Hello and welcome back to In the Garden with Rose. Today I thought we would talk about orchids and focus on selecting your orchid and caring for your orchid and repotting your orchid once all of the flowers have completed their life cycle. I received these two beauties from my neighbors, and I will share photos in a second of what they looked like prior to all the leaves falling off. One was beautiful white and it had 10 blooms, 10 or 15 blooms, this one. And this one was a beautiful pink, like a fuchsia color, and they were very large pink blooms. So the time has come now for us to repot them. When you select your orchids, you want to make sure that you check the plant for the roots and the nice thick luscious leaves like these, and get those that you have some blooms waiting to open, because if you buy it and all the plant is completely in bloom, you don't really know how long it's been in the particular florist or in the store or wherever you're purchasing the plant from. And obviously these are epiphytes and they're flown in from Asia and other warm climates, maybe Florida, California, but clearly, I believe they originate over in Asia. And so therefore they're on trucks and they're being shipped a very long way. So we don't know how old our orchids are, how long they've been sitting. And that's why you want to change your medium once the plant has all the flowers are off of it. And that's what's happened here. And you'll notice that they will plant these epiphytes in cocoa husk. Coconut husk. So you want to remove that. It just looks like a little pot actually that they started out in, and then as it grows it'll end up like that, and you want to discard that coconut husk, and you want to make sure that you clean your orchid. You want to clear all of the medium off. You want to make sure that any of the roots that are no longer living, that you trim those off, and you can make sure that it's clean and gorgeous before you repot it, because you're giving it a new home and you want to make sure that everything is beautiful before you put it in its new home. So as you notice, you have the stalk where the flowers were, and you should trim those off. And I've trimmed most of it off on this one, but let's complete and finish the rest. Because once your orchid blooms, it will never, when the new flower stalks come in, they'll be on different parts of the orchid. And you want your plant's energy to be used on supporting the roots and the leaves, so that when your next blooms come along, the plant won't be using its energy to support the dead stem. Now I wait until the stem turns brown, but some people, as soon as all of the flowers fall and they get ready to repot it, they go ahead and trim the flower stalks off. So you can see this one looks pretty lovely, and it's got a lot of lovely roots on it. And what you want to do when you're trying to determine, well, which one of these should I trim? They're going to look sort of gray and flat and not have any light. For example, I don't see too many on this one, so that's a good thing. But I'll show you an example of what they look like when the roots are no longer healthy. And you you want to remove those healthy roots by using your fist scars or another sharp object and trim it. Now here I can see some roots that are not healthy and they're pretty tiny. So I'm going to go ahead and trim those off. And see, everything else looks, wait, I see another one in the interior of the plant. And I also see some of the medium. The medium will attach itself to your flat and it turns a kind of a gray color. So those are the ones that you want to remove. You don't want the plant's energy to go to anything that's not healthy. There's another one. You want its energy to go to getting ready to create your next set of blooms. And once you get your orchid home, you want to care for it by giving it water every 10 days, every 7 to 10 days. And orchids need to be soaked when you're watering them. So I'll show you how to do that. Some people sell orchids and they'll say you can put like several ice cubes on them, but they're tropical plants and they really don't like to be that cold. And so I don't follow that method. I like to soak them for about 20 minutes and make sure you fertilize them every 7 to 10 days as well. Okay, that's beautiful. Now, once we're done with that, we want to give it a nice soak. So I have some water here, and you want to soak it. You can also use peroxide, and just take the peroxide and spray, and you'll see that it'll foam up on your roots and give your roots just a beautiful, clean, healthy, it'll respond. And so you can do that as well. But you just want to get it clean, get all of the debris off of it, all of the medium that has attached itself, so that you can see it's like because these are epiphytes, you don't plant them in dirt. You want to use the orchid potting mix, and which is like a coarse blend mix, so that the plant can aerate. It really needs that air because orchids attach themselves to trees in the tropics. And so those roots are out and the air is blowing and they attach themselves. So we're trying to recreate that in our homes and get that same beauty. So there we go. I think that's pretty clean. I've cut off all of the, wait, I see another root here. So like when they start to look like a string like that, you can see that that is not healthy. So you just want to trim it off. Everything that you leave on your orchid and on your root system is just going to support the health of the orchid. Excess quick soak. So clean. And now we're ready to pot. See, as soon as you continue to clean, you will notice other unhealthy roots that appear. And then you want to make sure that you, there's another one right there. You always want to be careful because a lot of times you'll accidentally, I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you're pruning a plant, sometimes you'll prune off a part that you don't want to prune off. Okay, that is ready to be repotted. So our next step is, I recommend using the Orchid repotting containers. I got these on Amazon. And you notice how it has holes all the way in the bottom and all the way around so that the orchid can breathe. And what you want to do is take your orchid mix, and this is the Espoma organic orchid mix for orchids and bromelates. And you want to take this coarse mix and put about a third of it into the potting container. And as you can see, we got about a third in there. And then start to put your orchid in. And this is a 4-inch pot. They like to be tight inside. And it's okay to leave some roots out, and then you can just spritz those roots, and when you give your plant water. But some of them like to be aerial, out in the air, throw out there into the air. And I love watching the aerial roots as well. Notice how pretty and green. That's one of the ways you can also tell if your orchid roots are healthy, because when you spritz them or pour water on them, they will turn green as opposed to like a gray, kind of a dark brownish color like that, for example. Okay, on that, now we just want to continue. I'm going to add a little bit of sphagnum moss as well. A little bit of sphagnum moss, not too much. Some people plant their entire orchid in sphagnum moss, but I just like to use a little. I prefer the coarse, which kind of looks like mulch in a sense, but it's mixed. It has a little bit of vermiculite in it. This is a Miracle Grow orchid potting mix as well, which is also the coarse blend. And these mixes, they're fast draining because you want the water to flow out and not soak your roots, and then your roots will rot. So that is the reason why they make a specific potting soil or mixture or blend for orchids, as opposed to normal plants that are not epiphytes. A little bit more of this. And you can kind of shake it around on your table to even the mix out and around the plant. And then we'll just continue until we all the mix in there that we need. Now, in terms of care, when you water your orchid every 7 to 10 days, you want to give it some fertilizer each time, and you want to soak your orchid in the water, for about 20 minutes at a time. And that allows all that moisture to get through all the holes. And the other beautiful thing about your orchid is you can see your roots. So you can determine by using the proper containers with the holes, you can see your roots. So when you water it, you see those beautiful green healthy roots, and you know your orchid's happy, it's healthy, it's in good shape. Now the orchid, certain companies like Espoma and Miracle Grow and others, they make orchid fertilizer in like a spray bottle, but you can use your regular fertilizer. Usually it's Miracle Grow makes it and others, and you just add water to it. For example, you might add whatever the instructions tell you to do, but most people suggest that you weaken it a little bit. So if it says use 1 tablespoon of fertilizer and add it to 32 ounces of water, they might tell you to use 1/2 or 3/4 of the fertilizer, just to kind of not overly fertilize your orchid. So play around with it. I like to use a tad bit of fertilizer because I'm in a cold climate and I feel like the plant might be happier. It might need a little bit more fertilizer than when I was living in California, for example, or Florida, where it's a lot warmer. But follow the instructions on the bottle, especially if you're new to trying to take care of and love and enjoy these beautiful. To put it in a decorative pot. And voila, there it is. So now you can also see that this pot has all the extra additional holes, because aeration is very, very important for the epiphyte. And also it has the hole underneath, so when you water it, let's say you were to just give a little drop of water right now, because I am going to soak it for the 20 minutes once I repot the second orchid. And then you may see how the water's coming out, and then you're getting your air flowing throughout that orchid. And doesn't it? It's already happy. It's already saying, "Thank you, Rose." Now, the other thing you want to do is keep your leaves nice and healthy and beautiful. And so, what you want to do is you can take, some people say you can use a little bit of lemon water. Just take a lemon, squeeze it, and add a little water and gently rub the leaves off. Because you always want your leaves to get the proper photosynthesis. And so you don't want dust on them that allows them, they aren't able to soak in the sun and get the nutrients that they need. So I have a little bit of neem oil, and I use the cold pressed. And so I'm going to just show you how to gently take a little bit of neem oil. And this is Harris neem oil. I got this from Lowe's. And gently wipe your leaves, clean them up. And it smells like kind of like a coffee smell. It's completely organic. You can even use this, the cold pressed and organic, on your pets and on your skin if you've got a mosquito bite, for example. Now let's get this next leaf. And we'll get this last leaf. isn't that absolutely gorgeous, lovely, fabulous, healthy, happy? And in about 3 or 4 months, you should start to see it bloom. And what you want to do, well, you start to see the flower stalks, and then ultimately you get your flower blooms. But you want to place your orchid in a south-facing window, and so that it's getting the proper amount of light. Aside from, now what I use for watering, you want to use something deep, and I found these at the dollar store back when everything was still $1. And I just fill this up, and I sit the plant down in it, like that, and just set a timer for 20 minutes, take it out, and then when you do take your plants out, you want to use a saucer that is dry, because the orchid does not like to have its feet wet like most plants, because if it gets too much water, it'll rot your roots, and then you won't have a successful plant in terms of your blooms. So that's everything that we have on how to purchase, care for, and repot your orchid. Now I'm going to do this one next. So let's see, let's put this one over here. What I do is, you see how when you purchase them, see this pot, it has holes under the bottom, but all of the sides, there's no pot. There's no holes. Okay. So again, it's coming from whatever nursery or store or whatever, and you can see how broken up the medium is. It's almost like falling up just gently, to see, because it's probably been on here for quite some time. And again, you can see that this one has the cocoa husk on it as well. So we want to take that off, and we're going to get this medium off. And see how the orchid has just, the roots have grown all around the cocoa husk. Coconut husk, I'm sorry. So we're going to take that off. And we'll continue to get the medium off. Let's see. Unwrap, and you can save these, so when your orchid blooms again, if you don't use the clips to clip the flower stalk to the stake, then you can use these. I always recycle things that come with the plant if I am going to find use for it later. And so this is a great stake, because you could use this for something other than an orchid, but I'm going to use it again for this one, because I loved how it was shaped this way, and then we had 10 blooms on one side and 10 on the other. Very attractive. Finish getting this cocoa husk off, and then we will. Now I'm going to try an experiment, because someone suggested that since this stalk isn't dead, that if you want to see if you can get another flower to bloom, you can count up 3 and then trim it. And since this is so healthy and green, I'm going to try that. So you can see 1, 2, 3, and then you go about a ½ inch above that and trim the stalk. Because you never know if you get a bloom off of that particular stalk. And this one isn't completely dead the way the the one was on the previous plant. So now we'll go through, and you can see how flat and dead. It's completely dry versus these moist, wet, healthy roots. So we're going to get any of the additional medium off of here. And by the way, if you like this mat, I also got that on Amazon. And it's really nice because you can snap it together. I'll show you as we finish this up. But you can make it like a box. That's the old container, so I won't use that. And that allows you to take the mixture when you're done with this and just go to your trash can and just simply pour it out. And then your table will have a lot less cleanup remaining once you've done that. Now we've got a lot of roots on this one that are dead. So we'll cut those off. I mean, it will be flat, so you will know that it is a dead root. There's one more. I'm just using a pair of Fiscars. To get these dead roots off. Completely flat. Okay, so it looks like we've gotten that one pretty, let's see, another little root that we need to take care of. All right, I'm going to take a couple seconds to go and clean the roots, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now you see how beautiful and healthy and green. See how green those roots are? And thick and plump. It's pretty. All right, it's ready for us to pot. So we're going to take our same steps that we took before. Take our container. This is a 4-inch container. Pour about 1/3 of your continue to pour our orchid mix in. Needs a little more orchid mix. I think that does it. Shake it around. You want to make it even so that you have enough potting mix in there, medium, so that your leaves will stand up nice and be supported in the base. These are some big, healthy, full leaves, full of water. They need that. Sure. Add some sphagnum moss. Add some sphagnum moss. Now, I also want to make it beautiful. Another moment to clean it up and make it pretty. Ready for its watering routine. Let's get a little bit of neem oil. I'd like to mix a little water with it. The other thing about watering is you want to make sure that you do not get water in the crown of the orchid because it'll rot. If you were to wet that, these leaves would get so full of moisture that it would rot. So you want careful. That's why you soak the plant. There we go. So let me know any thoughts that you might have on how you repot your orchids. I hope that this was a helpful video. And thank you for your time, which is your non-renewable resource. And remember, don't ever stop gardening. Bye.